Simba, oh my goodness. Firstly, I'm very happy that we're having this conversation, but secondly, I'm also very sad that you're out of the house. I mean, the way it all happened, I mean, it was awful to see you go in that coffin, and that task was just
Yeah,
horrible to watch. But how are you feeling, Simba, after coming out of the house and seeing the reactions towards you?
it feels really nice, and plus, I'm actually moved by the way the fans and everyone has showed and showered love on me. And I'm really thankful to God and grateful to Him that people have been accepted me the way that I am, rather than just doing stuff for the sake of screen space. I'm so glad that there are there are a few people, and there always will be, who don't like you and stuff like that. But I'm grateful again that the people who love me are way more out there rather than the people who don't like me. And I'm glad that they've accepted me for who I am rather than what I've chosen to portray. So I'm
Hmm.
glad about it. And it feels really nice to be out, and the world seems really beautiful. And it has never felt so different.
Oh, bless you. Well, I'm glad as well, and I'm glad you were yourself. But tell me, Simba, so I know you obviously a well-known actor on the TV front, before you went into the house. What was your objective, before entering Bigg Boss, and how successful do you feel you've been in achieving that objective?
Anuj, before I had gone to the Big Boss house, to be honest, I didn't really watch Big Boss. I was never through with it. And I so wanted to, but I just couldn't. I had seen a few episodes before going in, but I had heard a lot about Big Boss. I'd heard a lot that there are a lot of arguments happening, that there are a lot of fights happening in the Big Boss house. Maybe it could be a small thing. People fight for an egg, people fight for an onion. And for me, it was like, how can someone fight for a single leg? Like, I'd choose to be hungry rather than, fighting for an egg. So that seemed like really illogical to me. So I wanted to go there and find out that how it actually is. And my objective before going to the house was just to portray myself, because I think that I come from love, I come from respect. You can know Simba if you respect him, if you talk to him nicely, if you give him love, if you give him, fights and arguments, then he won't interfere with your life, but he'll just ignore you. Simba is that. And I just chose to be myself, and there was just one objective, that I wanted the people, the viewers who think Big Boss is a big reality show, so give them a reality check. Because people for screen space are often, being someone else just to portray or have more screen space. But I didn't care about it. I had clarified in the second episode itself when Moni had come. Then it was like, I'm not here to be shown. I'm not here to, look at me. Simba is here, and look how strong I am. Look how aggressive I can be. It was just about being myself. And I personally, whenever I see a reality show or whenever I see a person or an interview or something, I expect that person to be humble, that person to be down to earth, rather than being all aggressive and going all out. So that's the person I am, and that's the person I chose to show everyone also.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end, a person becomes what he is by his own experiences. But people are going to judge you whatever they see you on TV. So why show them something else? Just share your experiences and your learnings that you have learned throughout your life. And that was my objective.
Absolutely. But I feel like क्योंकि बिग बॉस एक ऐसा शो है जिसमें झगड़ा बहुत ज्यादा होता है और लोग उसको entertainment मानते हैं. In fact, I think when one of the wild cards came in, they were like, it's going to be entertainment for you, but it's going to be saza for the housemates. So there's always that notion, Simba, at play. How do you think that sort of approach can change now because of your popularity that you got just by being yourself on the show?
So I'd like to say that in the end, a Big Boss is a reality show, and people who come there, they are more of celebrities. They are actors, they're singers, and people, the fans, their friends, their families, they all look up to them for the person they are. There, like the reason I did the show was for my mother, and my mother loves me for the person who I am, not
Oh,
for anyone I portray to be. So why will I show anyone else that I could be this, I could be that? If I want to show something which I'm not, then I am an actor, and I choose real shows over a reality one. Then, if you want to see me shouting, if you want to see me reacting to stuff, if you want to see me slamming or just breaking down, then you can see me in my real shows in which I'm acting. But if it's a reality show, then I believe that people need to see the love, the connections, the emotions that people have in between them, their individual personalities. That how a person, if I talk about Karan Kundra, and people have seen him throughout his shows, his real shows, his TV serials, his MTV mark. People have seen Karan Kundra through that, but what Karan Kundra is in real life, they'd want to see through Bigg Boss. So why are you gonna portray someone else? Because in the end, people want to see the real you. They want to see real emotions, and I think that what matters for a show like Bigg Boss, rather than just getting screen space for arguments, which I think is a personal choice. No one tells you to do this. No one tells you to do that. It's people's own choice to do all of that. But me in particular, I don't like people who fight for unnecessary things. And I chose to be myself, which and I really get triggered when it's something big, not for food, of course. And just I think that Big Boss philosophy should change because people think that it's a show of arguments and hatred and stuff like that. But I think that it's a show of personalities, connections, which will be put in different situations, and how are they going to react? Are they going to take it like a man, or are they going to just show aggression? That's their choice.
yes, you very well said there. Um, but I mean, it's really wonderful to know that you are so sorted that way, Simba. And I think that's what really attracts me to people like you, to Nishant, to Pratik. Is seeing how sorted you are. In fact, speaking of Pratik, I know you weren't initially quite fond of him at the beginning
Yeah.
stage of the show, but then slowly and slowly this developed into a very beautiful bond that you shared not just with Pratik but also with Nishant as well.
Right.
And I think pretty much everyone in the house actually you got on well with. So how did your opinion change on Pratik? What was it about him that really attracted you towards him and Nishant as well, actually?
So I'll tell you really honestly, the very first day that I saw Pratik, Nishant, Pratik, and Shamita were right there opposite in the house, and we were in the jungle, and the curtain raises, and we see the three of them. So I could see Nishant, he is smiling and say, hi, 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 everyone. Shamita is like smiling, and she's like, yes, yes, yes. But Pratik is like out there in a corner, relaxing by the table. He's like, hey, what's up? And it's like, I was like, what is this guy? Matlab, when I meet a new person, I want to show them chivalry. I want to show them, courtesy, being courteous, rather than giving them respect, rather than, giving attitude to them on the very first day that I've seen you. So it was like, what kind of a person he is. And later on, I thought that he must be, like doing stuff just for the sake of his character. Maybe he's thought about being something, but not. But later on, when I found out who Pratik actually is, there was this time when I was going through the hallway and I just passed him a smile. It was like a normal smile, which I gave him. And he smiled back in return. And I was like, does this guy smile also? That was the first time I saw him smiling. And that really, I thought that maybe he's not the person that he's showing. But later on, when I got to know him, deeply, and when I had deep conversations with him, I got to know that it's not actually him. It's actually one shell that he has created around him. There's this bubble which he has formed, and out of which he doesn't let anyone to enter in that shell. He
Hmm.
remains very restricted in terms of relationships, which I adore this quality about him, because I, as a person, I'm hungry for love. I'm hungry for friendships. I'm hungry for everything. But this guy is like, I don't need anyone. I can just do stuff on my own. but deep inside, the people he really connects with, he connect that those connections are like really very strong. If I talk about his mother, if I talk about his sister, if I talk about Nishant as a friend, then I could see that how much he cares and how much he loves all of them. And for a person like Pratik, I don't think so he ever backs out of a connection. He's always there for them. He always stands by them, and no matter how tough the situation gets, he'll be there ahead of everyone for who he loves. You know, he's gonna take a bullet for them. He
Hmm.
won't care about himself then. But the people who are outside that shell, then he plans to hit them the bullet. So I think that he's a very
Protective
restricted
figure.
personality, but protective, you can say. Actually, protective is the right word. He's very protective about himself. And the people who enter, he showers like immense love on them. And he's like a really emotional and a really cute boy, which I got to know later.
Yes, that is so true. And I think that's something which I've gauge as well, especially about Pratik and Nishant, actually. And I love that
Yeah,
little bond that you all share, even with Jay as well, towards the latter part of
yeah,
the show. It's just such a shame that you and Jay are out because I would have loved to see more
yeah.
of that, to be very honest,
Right.
because like Big Boss isn't just about the juggalas. But I also really like the fact that whenever there was a Jagda, I think one of the first initial fights that happened, I think was it with Donald and someone, or there was a fight that happened at the beginning, and you were literally just casually eating your food, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
minding your own business. It's like I think someone had captioned this on Twitter as "Aag lage basti mein, Simba ji apne masti mein." I think that.
Bilkul. And actually, this is the truth, you know. I was so used to, seeing arguments in the house. Like I used to wake up and there's someone screaming, there another person is screaming. I was like, okay, let me at least brush my teeth first, and then I go brush my teeth, have a shower, come back. I see again like a few people are fighting. Like there's continuous fights going on throughout the day, from day till night. There's always fights going on. I don't understand that. How is it even possible? To like fights going so regularly.
Mm,
But it like I was so used to all the fights that I chose food over that. I chose like I
I
really
love
am
that.
hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry and I don't want to get myself involved into any kind of argument right now, which doesn't seem legit to me. So I must have my food. I think like I'm completely chilled out about all of that, and I literally don't care unless it's an emotional fight, unless it's like two friends fighting, or if it's a major thing. It was like very normal, ki, matlab, why did you take an extra onion? Most of the fights that happen in the house are about why did you take two more onions? Why did you have more food? Why did you,
Yeah.
have one more roti? So most of the fights are on that. Now, what do I say in that, man? Seriously, I have nothing to say in that. मतलब आप मेरे हिस्से की रोटी ले लो यार. You take my food, I'm okay with it, but I don't want to fight for a bread. Seriously.
That is so cute, and I love that because honestly, itihas gawah hai, like not just in Big Boss, but even in the UK Big Brother when it used to air, some of the biggest Ghamasan fights happened because of food. I mean, when Shamita's sister Shilpa was in the
Yeah,
house, it happened because of chicken stock cubes. And
yeah,
that became
yeah,
a huge, huge controversy, and eventually she won. But some of the biggest fights have happened because of food, and it's crazy. But it's so good that you have that quality to not uh to prioritize what's important and what's
yeah.
not important. I think for me, another
Right.
conversation which really stood out for me, Simba, was when you and Nishant were in the jungle area, you were sleeping, and I think Nishant was just questioning about like friendships and about him as a person, and you were like, yes, and you kind of gave him an explanation, a very deep explanation about himself. I think that's what really won me over is that you have this real understanding of people and their emotions. So is this something which again happened over the course of your stay at Big Boss, or has this always been you as a person?
Uh, like to be honest on this, like I have been an introvert in my life, and most of the things that introverts do is listen, not speak, They don't act much, but they observe so much. And I'm like extremely passionate, and the real fire, the real act comes out of me when I'm, following my passion, which seems to be acting. I am like another person when I'm acting, but if I talk about real life, I'm like really chilled out. And I have been an observer, a listener throughout my life, and I have heard people's experiences. I have given them advices. So when I talk about Nishant, I'd like you to say that whatever people call him may call him outside, that you're the mastermind, you play with people's emotion, you don't trust your friendships, you don't value your friendships and stuff like that. I deny all of that because I know Nishant as a person, and he he cares so much about his connections and friendships. To be honest, like I don't think so. Anyone is so about relationships than Nishant is. Like he's all about them, and maybe he's a little more, he justifies each and everything. He tries to be fair all the time, and that's what, comes back to him. And that's why people start then, commenting on his plans and his teen ka panch thing and everything.
Mm,
So I think he's one of the most genuine guys that we have in the show, and he's really been taken in a wrong way because he really cares about his
I agree.
connections and
Yep.
his friendships rather than, I've never seen him playing the right game, like, I'm like forming the strategy. In fact, he used to talk to me more because he was like कि यार मैं बहुत पक गया यार अब ये गेम की बातें
I
करके, तू
know.
ऐसे बाहर की बातें कर. So we used to talk about random stuff that happens outside the world, or sorry, outside the Big Boss world. Actually,
Yeah, absolutely. And he was
it's
crying for you as well. He cried for you whilst he was making food, and I think that really touched me. But look, Simba, I think we're running out of time, so I've got so many other
yeah,
quick questions. So I'm going to try and sort of snowball them into
yeah.
these
Let's make it
questions.
short. Sure,
So
sure.
I'm so sorry, Simba, that I'm going to have to sort of snowball these questions. But number one is that you had this massive fight with Umar, which obviously attracted a lot of attention on social media. Do
Right.
you regret that fight?
So I definitely regret that fight. Because Omar has always been a close friend to me, and no matter how many ups and downs we have faced throughout our relationship, be it that BB points wala task, or
Hmm.
maybe it could be the sugarcane task in which he,
Yeah.
snatched that sugarcane from my hand and abused me again. And so no matter what had happened, I didn't look forward to fighting with Omar, especially because I really love him as the person he is.
Hmm.
But again, he just did too much. They all just give too much efforts to be, shown, to be right there, to be looked, to be shown in the game. They're doing so much that they are actually losing themselves. The Omar that I know, he's like a gem of a person. He's like really sweet. He's really kind, he's really giving. But when it comes to tasks, then he becomes a completely different Umar. He becomes selfish. He becomes, emotionless. He doesn't care for friendships. I think I personally prioritize relations over anything. If I love someone, I'm gonna give up anything for them. And used to lose himself, for which I didn't like that quality about him. And whatever happened that day, it was just out of, it was just a reaction to the action, because there's one thing which I can't take, and which is like words from my mother. I can't listen about my personal life. I can't listen about my mother, especially if you're abusing anyone, and that too coming for a friend. So the push that I gave him, it was more of a key. How the fuck can you say that? It was about that.
Hmm.
It wasn't about key. Now you deserve this. Now go. It
Right.
wasn't that. It was like, how can you say that? And we by chance was standing just beside the pool, which happened that he fell in water, which I really regret. That at least I shouldn't have been a little physical, or he shouldn't have at least gone into the pool. But it's okay, because in the end, it was just 4 feet water. No one can drown in that water. And he himself knows swimming. And otherwise, also later on, he used to jump in the pool just to get one coconut. And so I didn't think so that was like risky, but at my part I do regret that I shouldn't have done that. But as a friend, I considered Umar a really nice friend, but coming that from him really triggered me. So
Okay.
that's
Well,
why
that's
it happened.
as long as you understand and regret it, that's the main thing. So your rapport with Salman Khan, because he obviously seemed to really appreciate you, even if you were just lying around and sleeping around. He just loved the fact that you were there, and wow, he loved doing that to you every
Yeah,
weekend covered as well.
yeah, definitely. So the thing about Bhai, I have always been a big admirer, and I really love him for the person he is. No matter about his acting, everyone loves him for that. I've been a big fan of Tere Naam, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, the way he has portrayed himself in the movie. I admire that. And as a person, I think he's the most genuine, the most emotional, and a person who I can connect to because whenever I talk about my friends, he's always there and he keeps them as their first priority. So I'm really able to relate to him in that manner. And if I talk about stuff about me, then I really am grateful to him that he said all of that. But probably maybe because he could see that I'm just trying to be real. I'm not trying to portray anybody. Maybe he saw that, and that's why he did all of that. But no matter whatever he said, that meow and everything, it was just to give me a wake up call.
Hmm.
But definitely, the efforts that I put in were really less. But I'm glad that in the end, I came out being real, and
Yeah.
difficult situations couldn't affect me. And
Hmm.
about Salman Khan, I'd always love him and respect him and admire him just for the
Oh,
way he is.
no.
And that's it.
Amazing. That's wonderful, and I'm sure he'll be very delighted to hear that as well. By the way, do watch Antim if you've not seen it. He was lovely in that film, so do watch it if
I'll
you
definitely watch it. Definitely, I will.
will. Also, on a final note, Simba, before I let you go, who do you see as your winner?
To be honest, I'll really be honest here because it's like really difficult to make one choice of who's gonna be the winner. For me, I just want a person who is real in the show should be the winner because in the end, it's a reality show. And if you're doing stuff and if people are not getting it and you become the winner, I think that's not gonna be the winner for me. So the question you asked me was, who's gonna be my winner?
Yes.
So I'd like to say. People who have been genuine, real in the show. I think they are Nishant, Pratik, and Shamita. And if you ask me, then I'd like any one of these to become the winner, and I'll be as much happy. No matter who becomes the winner, even if Karan, Teja, or the new wildcards become, I'm happy for them also. But the people that I have seen and have been real, these are going to be these three. And I'd like to say that I'd love if any one of those becomes the winner of Bigg Boss 15.
Oh, amazing. And I'm sure, and it's just so lovely to hear that. I'm sure whenever they come out of the house and watch this interview, they'll also be very delighted to hear the stuff that you've had to say about them. And, honestly, Simba, it's so rare that we get to meet gems of people on the show. I mean, we had gems like Siddharth Shukla in the past, and it's wonderful to see that Big Boss has now given us people like yourself, like Shamita, like Nishant, like Pratik. And honestly, you've got such a bright future ahead of you, Simba. And thank you so much for just being you and coming on Big Boss. And thank you for entering the show because we got to see more of you and keep being the amazing person you are, honestly.
Thank you so much, Anuj. It was so lovely talking to you.
It was an absolute
Hope
pleasure,
to see
Simba.
you soon.
Definitely. Take care, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.